What's going on, college football world? Peter and Rob back with you for another video. June 6th and 7th is coming up, man. The Michigan hearings from the Committee on Infractions. And things are getting juicy and things are getting spicy. We're here to share our predictions on what we think might go down at this Committee of Infractions. Rob, first of all, what do you think about some of the developments that have come over the past couple of weeks as people have backtracked?
Yeah, it seems like a lot of Michigan mouthpieces have backtracked. They went from saying, there was no cheating to, well, there was some cheating to everybody does it, then to nothing's going to happen. It's not as big. Well, we don't know if nothing's going to happen. And then it goes to, we don't know what's going to happen at all.
Right.
So, and one thing I want to point out is
Hmm.
Chris Ballas, that little slime ball, dude, that snake. So Chris Ballas is the one who actually no, I'm gonna tell the story about the whole Ryan Day's brother PI situation.
Hmm.
So what ended up happening is, Zach Smith. We all know what happened with Zach Smith in the program. Well, he has this show called Menace of Sports, and
Yeah.
he's like, you know what? I'm gonna throw this bait out here. Let's see let's see if the Michigan fans take it. And he's like, I saw somewhere that Ryan Day's brother owns a PI firm. Who would have thought? Just think about the things that his brother could have done in that PI firm. And just like then this big story. I think Chris Ballas is the one who picked up on it, saying, we're hearing word that a PI firm was involved in tipping off NCAA investigators about the sign stealing scandal. Word
Yeah.
is that there's links to Ohio State. And so, dude, all these years, man, Ryan Day, I mean, his name already gets dragged through the mud as it is. But now you're adding on, the PI thing with his brother, his family's involved in it as well. And then it's just like they completely took the bait. And so back in, I think it was January when Michigan did their little rebuttal, it was actually in the rebuttal that they fully admitted that it was someone within their own camp who blew the whistle.
Hmm.
So to me, like they have gotten this wrong the whole entire time, and now they're scraping at any piece that they can get to cope and make themselves feel better. But you know what? I'm done. I'm done being nice about this. They dragged Ryan Day and his family's name through the mud. They just there's no more trying to hold the higher moral ground.
I'm
Go
with you.
look up the staff that have been fired and the things that they have done. Alex Ude, a child predator. Matt Weiss, literally being indicted by the FBI for 24 under what is it, 20 to 24 counts. Oh yeah, by the way, Michigan
My
mouthpieces
God.
beat writers told us all that it had nothing to do with the FBI. Another thing they got wrong. So to me, Peter, it's just like there's just a bunch of sunshine blowing going on. They're gonna die in this hill apparently, and I don't think they're gonna fall on their sword ever. And just like, but go on. What are your
Yeah, no,
thoughts on this?
there's a lot of backtracking going on from Michigan insiders as well as from national pundits like Josh Pate and Joe Klatt. They were very firm and adamant on their initial opinions when this first was released, and now they're saying, "Hold on, there might be something coming here. There might be something coming here." And it's just kind of funny to see everybody backpedaling now and going against these strong stances that they had at first. As you mentioned and you pointed out, man, and this is true for every program. It was true with Trestlegate when everything went down. Sunshine blowers only release what the university or the program wants you to know. That's why Michigan as a program has never talked about injuries and they never will. It's just not something you get from them. Where Ohio State is very transparent about their injuries and what's taking place on the team. And so it's just one of those things, man. It's like you gotta if if you're an Ohio State fan like we are, don't trust the sources. If you're a Michigan fan, don't trust your inside Michigan sources either, because they're not telling you the whole picture. They're not telling you the full story.
Yeah, and just like going back to the moral high ground thing, dude. I said
Hmm.
Alex Ude and Matt Weiss, but dude, they're Connor Stallions.
Yeah,
Dude lives in Looney Tune land. He actually thinks he is going to be the head coach of Michigan football someday. How delusional can you
yeah,
get? And then you have Denard Robinson, who we all happened to see the video. I don't know if you saw the video of the DUI, but it was terrible.
I
Um,
did see it.
and
Yeah,
then you have Scruggs got a DUI, and then it just keeps getting. I mean, freaking the Jesse Minter and Steve Klinkstill just got show causes. Steve
sure.
Klinkstill got a longer show cause because he lied. He didn't cooperate. And then you have Jim Harbaugh, who has a 4-year show cause. And I don't want to hear about this. It doesn't matter because they're in the NFL. It absolutely does matter. It's a blueprint for what's about to happen, for what's about to come. Sharon Moore will not be the head coach for Michigan. I could tell you, that's just what it's looking like, man. If you look at these show causes, if you look at we want heads from the Harbaugh regime, and Moore is the last one. If it comes down to it, when if their program is on the line and they need to cut ties in order to salvage it, they're going to cut ties in order to salvage it. It's a no-brainer. And for those of you who think absolutely nothing's going to happen, just go look at the NCAA's findings of the Harbaugh investigation. The language is right there that that tilts towards lack of institutional control, a culture of non-compliance. It's all there. Go look at Tony Petitti's 13-page letter on why they suspended Harbaugh. They've been lying about this entire situation. And you know what? For the Michigan fans who trying to take this seriously, I'll feel sorry for you if something big happens. For the ones who are
Sure.
being arrogant, they want to sit on their high horse
Putting their
and
head in the sand.
put their head in the sand. I don't feel sorry for you at all. And I feel like at the end of the day, I feel like something's gonna happen they're just not gonna like. And you know what? The word of the day, Peter, it's gonna be overreach. It's gonna be NCAA overreach. Because that's
Mm,
literally all they've been spouting. The NCAA has it out for us. The NCAA has it out for Harbaugh because he spoke up for athletes getting paid. Dude, at
right.
like that's been talked about since forever, dude. Ever since Shabazz Napier of UConn basketball talked about his experience about how he would go to bed hungry, and this really needs to be looked at. That was the one story that got that idea put on the map.
Man, no doubt. So you mentioned you don't think Sherrod Moore will be the head coach.
No,
When do you think
I,
that'll take effect?
I don't.
For this upcoming season?
It's just like, dude. So there's a big possibility. It's not so much that what was in the text messages. It's so
Uh,
much that the offense was that he deleted it.
the
And
cover up
so
is worse than
the
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 offense,
the
basically, is
the,
what you're
the
saying?
cover, like, dude, you're lying to NCAA investigators. That's another thing. You're not complying. If you have nothing to hide, then hand it over. And it's just it's ridiculous, man. And it's just like, not only that, but he's already been suspended like once, the beginning of their national championship season. And
Hmm.
just like,
Yeah.
okay, you're about to get slapped with a repeat offender. Like Peter, we both know that that's not going to end well.
Yeah, no, that is a realistic possibility. I think Connor Stallions gets the absolute worst of this. You might be dead spot on with Sharon Moore. I'm not quite sure where I stand with that just yet. But I think Connor Stallions is never going to be allowed to coach in the NCAA at any level, not as a head coach, assistant, any kind of. I think he's going to be completely done, especially with this Netflix documentary. They went and just rubbed it in everybody's faces. That
I mean, dude,
he thinks he was doing a cool thing, and that's going to totally backfire on him even more, in my opinion.
I mean
And he
the
got
way
paid
you
for it, so
look.
hey, whatever.
Oh yeah, definitely, dude. I mean, the way I look at it, man. not everybody, I'm sorry, but not everybody was doing this. Nobody's buying tickets for all these, soldiers going out and filming these games and going on opposing teams, uh being able to sit opposite of the team who you're scouting, and then reporting back to the head honcho. And it's just like this. We're talking about 30 games. Now, I
Mhm.
said I wouldn't talk about this. Like, we haven't reported on it, in quite some time. But now they're reporting on it. Like, I'm just reporting on the facts and what was read in the memos.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's just like, when it's like, so the thing was with Harbaugh getting suspended at like the end of the season. There was an emergency call between Tony Petitti, the NCAA, and all the rest of the coaches within the Big Ten, minus Harbaugh, because there's no way he could have sat in on that, dude. And
Sure.
it's just like, man, like, and here's the other funny thing, dude. All these Michigan fans who were saying, "Tell the NCAA to F off. We're so proud of Michigan for
Right.
giving the NCAA the middle finger." It's just like,
Going
dude,
on.
it's called not complying. It's called lack of cooperation. And we were talking about the Tennessee incident, right? Like,
Mm.
you're familiar with that. The reason why they got off like pretty easy is because if you go on the NCAA infraction site and you look up what was in that memo, it said they had exemplary, uh, gosh, they had exemplary cooperation. That's what I was thinking
They
about.
just
Exemplary,
cooperate, man.
cooperated really well. Can Michigan say the same thing? No, dude. And that whole we're gonna pick and choose our suspension. We're gonna give 2 games, dude. It's all for show, and the NCAA is not dumb. And at the end of the day, Peter, I I think that they dug themselves even bigger hole.
It's very, it's certainly very possible, man. And I have, I have an inclination that he'll definitely be gone for the first 4 games of the season. But you might be spot on. You might just be gone. Throwing more that is, and so I think there'll be a massive fine. I think there'll be scholarship reduction or recruiting restrictions, whatever you want to call it. Probably no bowl ban, anything like that. I don't think there'll be anything like that. I don't think there's gonna be any vacating wins, but I think more is coming than what I thought over the last 2 years. I'll be honest. Like I really didn't think anything was gonna happen for the longest time. But you've been following this story super closely, and you know the ins and outs and the details of it, and even contacted the NCAA itself. So you know a lot about what's going on. And there is now a high possibility Sharon Moore might not be the coach for this upcoming 2025 season. So we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out together. Now with the June 6th and 7th stuff, what's going on with that? Like in terms of they can't actually announce the penalties until later. Like I thought this was the end game for the penalties and whatnot, but I guess it's being delayed even further, or just not being
No,
announced
so
until 30,
it's
45 days or whatever.
yeah, so I mean, this is taking forever, man, and for, good reason. I mean, this is a really big thing. I mean, this is something that just can't be taken care of, overnight. You know, there's
Sure.
there's there's no room for swift action with this. There needs to be, this needs to be taken with precision and caution, and just being thorough in the investigation. I mean, and if you look at it, if you go on like, I'm telling you, for those of you who want to know more, just go on the NCAA infraction site. Go look at the fact that they're giving Michigan as much due process as possible. They've granted them, I mean, so many, like 2 or 3 extensions to be like, okay, we don't want them to come back saying we didn't give them this, we didn't give them that. And by the way, I I have some quotes from the letter.
Mm, nice.
And it basically says, The existence of the impermissible scheme is proven.
For
And
sure.
basically, like the sportsmanship policy has been broken. But it's a really long letter. If you guys
Certainly
go look
wrong.
at it, go read the language, and I could tell you that a whole bunch of nothing is just that's not what's gonna happen. It's gonna be a whole bunch of something. I'm not gonna lie, Peter. I've quickly changed my tune as well.
Sure.
And you know what?
Sure.
I hate to say this, due to the arrogance and stuff, there is no better fan base that this is possibly
Come
gonna
on,
happen
speak
to.
it.
I'm sorry. Actually, I'm sorry, man, but dude, just just the arrogance. Nothing's gonna happen. We didn't do anything. Let's cry about the NCAA.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
So we'll see what happens, man. June 6th, 7th, they're right around the corner, obviously, just a couple days away, and then we'll know a little bit more about what's going on. But that's gonna do it for this one. Go Bucks and God bless. We will see you on the next one.
OH.
IO.